All right, guys, in this section, we're going to go over rules for renovation. So I want you to think about two things about the property, okay? Mostly when you're updating your property or renovating your property, you could broke it down into two categories. Things that you must have and things you don't need to worry about, which you could do, but it's like if you're going to prioritize some things, here are the must-haves, okay? So, must-haves. These are the things that improve the quality of life, that create a fantastic experience for the tenant, right? A functional air conditioner, right? A functional water heater does this thing a lot of hot water. Laundry on site would be good, great if you can get laundry per unit. So those are the three things. Uh, Dual pane windows. If they don't have it right away, that's fine. But eventually, you should update the dual pane Windows. And the other thing too is I know the thermal conductivity, which means, for instance, the ability to keep heat out. Okay, so the higher the thermal conductivity, the, that means the less the insulation. So, for instance, if you're in a room temperature room and you put your hand on a piece of plastic, it feels like room temperature. Whereas if you put your hand on a piece of metal, guess what? The metal feels cooler. Even though they're the same temperature, why does the piece of metal feel cooler? Because the thermal conductivity of metal is higher and it literally sucks the heat out of your hand and it transfers, and that's why it's called conductivity, thermal conductivity. So even though vinyl has better thermal conductivity, meaning it has lower conductivity, right? It's going to keep the unit cooler. Because this is a rental property, I would suggest, this is just my suggestion, is to put aluminum windows always. Aluminum windows are stronger than vinyl. So I would, if I put dual pane windows on a rental property, I'm normally putting aluminum or metal based windows, dual pane windows. Ceiling fans in every room. Okay, this helps with the circulation and keeps energy costs lower too. Their ceiling fans are always wonderful to have. If you could put a ceiling fan with a light on it, that's great. Honestly, normally I would just throw out the old toilets, right? You can get a good toilet for 120 bucks. You probably find your plumber to install it for 50 to 100 bucks. And having a nice toilet is going to add to the experience for the tenant. It really doesn't cost a lot. It's a huge deal too. Uh, Lots of cabinets and lots of counter space. This one I couldn't. I was a little bit shocked about this one, but honestly, having that extra storage space is really important for tenants, and that extra counter space is also really important for tenants. Massive sink with a great faucet. Normally, you can just don't. I'm not gonna. I don't do the dual sinks anymore. I just get one big sink, and honestly, it works a lot better because you can wash pans and such and stuff like that. And if you do have a big sink, it's going to help with the if with your ability not to have a dishwasher, so things not to worry about. Now, dishwashers, garbage disposals, ice makers, and fridges are equipped with water and ice dispensers. Now, the reason, unless, like, for instance, you're in a high end neighborhood, you can get away. Like, if you have a really nice sink, a really nice faucet that, like, as soon as you turn on the faucet, it has a lot of high pressure and you can blast dishes super clean. And remember, if you're renting a one bedroom, if you're, and this is a one bedroom apartment, most of the time, if you're a single individual, you're going to go out to eat. Um, you're not gonna cook there too often. So a lot of the times, having those garbage disposals and dishwashers don't even really add to the quality of life for some of these people. I mean, if you have a solid dishwasher, great. If you have garbage disposal, great. Just keep them in there. But when we talk about the longevity and having lower maintenance properties, dishwashers, garbage disposals, and ice makers are normally the things that go. And when I do get fridges, I get normally whether it's a freezer without an ice maker or a freezer and a fridge, and that's it. I try not to get things with water dispensers or ice dispensers. And these are things that you can be flexible on. That, like, hey, listen, personally, if you have a lot of counter space and a lot of cabinet space, like, for instance, if you're going to get a dishwasher for like 300-400 bucks and you invest that extra 300-400 bucks in a counter space, they're going to love that. Okay, so if you're going to put more money into something, put it towards the cabinets, put it towards granite countertops as well. Um, it's just going to add to the experience more so than that. So we're going to just do a quick little recap. Uh, Basically, renovating versus updating. So, for instance, uh, if you're a lean startup, you should just update, right? Paint, put new blinds, and just kind of make sure the property's clean. Put ceiling fans in the rooms, right? Now, if you're going to renovate, like this is for maximum equity increase where you're going to just gut everything and put everything brand new. Like if you can afford to do that, I think that's a great idea if you can renovate in the beginning, because eventually, like let's say 4 or 5 years down the road when you want to sell the property, you don't have to touch it. All you have to do is send a clean crew over there, clean it up, turn around and sell it. But yeah, when you're updating a property, if you're just bootstrapping and you need to get tenants in there, just kind of look around on Zillow, offer up Craigslist, see what's going for that price, and just try to update it to look like the other ones. And that's what I would recommend. So that's your strategy versus renovating versus updating, and just kind of look at your competitors. Now, if the property needs a total gut job, whenever someone says that, they're talking about renovating the property. So those are your rules for renovation.